Hello everyone, this is Abhi Bhardwaj and I'm back with lecture series in science. Today I'm going to talk about why this world we see might be an illusion. And this is a quite interesting topic actually, because when we say something illusion, that means it's not true, it's not real. It is something which looks different than what it is, and that's exactly what I mean when I say illusion. And I'll try to explain why do I think that this world could be unreal or illusion. So when you look at around us, I mean, what we are seeing, and I'm talking about humans here, and we will, and maybe other animals also, but let's talk about human brain. So when we see stuff around us, it's nothing basically, it's our senses which are observing it. So say for example, my eyes are looking at the stuff, and there's an inverted image being created, and then that image is being interpreted by my brain. And same way I could hear sound, and when I'm talking, because of the ear, the sound could travel and you guys could hear me. So all these senses are interpreted within our brain, which creates a reality for us. And this is how we look, feel, and work in this world. And I think this is very important, because what nature has done through evolution, that it has perfected these senses for us, and we use these senses every day, to survive. So it's very important for our survival. When we try to, for example, interpret the information within our brain, so whatever we are seeing is basically going inside our brain, and our brain is interpreting. But look at our brain first of all. So what is our brain made up of? Our brain is made up of trillions of cells. It's not one cell, it's trillions of cells. And it has two things. It has memory, number one. It performs different functions. So most important function is that it has a memory, so that I could remember things. That I have a friend, I have my kids. I have my coworkers. This is my car. This is my house. So all this stuff is memory within our brain, and that's very important piece. It's very much similar to computer, and I'm gonna kind of compare these two things, but let's first understand about brain. So as I mentioned, that our brain has memory, which is very important, because if we don't have memory, then next day when I get up, I'm not going to remember anything, and nothing is going to work for me. So memory is very important piece, very much similar to computer. And then second thing we have is logic and interpretation. So what we learn from our experience stays in our brain, and this is how our brain kind of make decisions for future. It knows what happened, for certain things we did in past is there in our memory, and that let it decide about future, or any decisions we make. We go back and check all those memories, what we did, and how the brain has interpreted that. So very important. But now, as I mentioned, there's not one single cell, it's trillions of neurons working together, and different parts of the brains are doing different functions. And in the end, it is giving that fake feeling of one, because there's no one, there's trillions of cells working together. So those neurons basically making us believe that I'm one. But when you look in reality, what you are trillions of cells. So when you look at your muscles, you look at other organs within your body, they're all made up of cells, and they're doing some function. But when you go into depth of those cells, they're all made up of atoms. And where does all these atoms came from? So when you look at how we started as one single cell that divided and made two cells, and then four cells, and eight cells, and 16 cells, so on and so forth, and created eventually me. What do you see? How did these cells divided, and and made different organs, and different and did different functions, is because of the DNA. So it read that DNA, which is kind of instructions, which tells how to how to create next set of cells and what they're going to do. So it's reading. So cells are very smart because they can read the DNA and create anything. And when you look at different organisms, for example, or different life forms, there's no difference. There's no difference between me and a bacteria or even a tree. The difference is that those cells interpreted the DNA, and the DNA was different for those. So basically there's a little tweaking in the DNA which made it possible to have this variety of life forms all over this planet. And when you go back, one single cell actually started. So there was a singular cellular life which came out of the amino acids. So if you look at how the origin of life happened, and that has taken over entire planet now with different life forms. So origin is same. But I'm gonna come back here, and discuss about our brain and why I think it could be illusion. What we are is actually a micro universe ourselves, and that is a fact. And other fact is that all these cells I have, like say for instance, the cells I have in my left arm are coming from different stars, and the cells I have in my right arm, the atoms for those cells, the atoms which are making those cells are coming from different stars. So if you look at how the earth was formed, it was formed from the dust cloud, and that dust cloud came from different stars in the universe. So that's how the planet Earth was formed. And we are nothing. We are a reflection of this planet. We have whatever we see. The trillions of cells have basically are made up of the atoms which came from Earth. We are exactly same what Earth is made up of. So there's no difference. So when it comes to illusion, means when you think you are one, first of all, that is wrong interpretation, because you are not one. You are trillions of cells. You're trillions of neurons saying together, one, me, for instance. It's not me. So trillions of cells, and then those cells, trillions of atoms, right? So so where are you? You are nowhere, right? And what is inside you? What is inside you which is taking care of you? It's nature. So moment you eat food, for example, when it goes here, are you controlling the food, when it goes down, and how the digestion is happening, all that stuff? It's all nature, right? And similarly, the nature is working outside you. So nature is both within you, and nature is also outside you, and it's working throughout the universe. Nature has laws, and those laws are basically operating throughout the universe. So it is within you and outside you. So where are you? You are nowhere. And what is nature? So that is where the creator comes into picture. And if everything originated, say for example, as I mentioned, that the first cell originated in the ocean, and that basically took over the entire planet. So that means the origin was same. And same way, when you look at the atoms, in the beginning of the universe, it was only hydrogen atom and helium and lithium, and all those were basic atoms also came from the single source. So that single source has actually created the entire visible, observable universe. And that's not all, because what we see, the visible universe, is only 5%. So then what else is there? Because we see a huge universe, right? So the rest is dark matter and dark energy. So do we know the entire picture? The answer is no. So when you don't know entire picture, and you understand that I'm not one individual, and all the senses are making me believe what I see around me, that is what I call illusion. And that's where I say that it's not real. Know the reality, know the facts, know the truth. And the truth is that, first of all, we are not one individual. We are trillions of cells. All those trillions of cells are made up of trillions of atoms. And it's not me who's controlling anything. It's the nature, both within me and outside me, who's controlling everything. And that's why it creates an illusion that where it's a fake identity which is being created, which tells me I am individual, I am me, but there's no me in real sense. Now I'll give you one example, where the science is going, for example, and how the computer works. Computer works very much same as our brain works, and it's nothing. It's just a box. It has zeros and ones. It has a motherboard. It has memory, but it's only zeros and ones, and it has logic. And the programmer can program it the way it to work, and it acts very smart and does stuff which is out of the ordinary. And now all artificial intelligence is coming up, all AIs, and machine learning and all that stuff is coming up. So it's becoming very much similar to the humans. And as we grow in science, as we make more progress, the computer is going to be, exactly, they're going to have senses. We can create those senses within the computer. We can create a fake software which tells, for example, a car that I'm alive, and you can create sensors within the car which can have, can feel heat, can feel cold, can have senses of touch, and also can look and hear. And that's what exactly is going to happen in future. So it's going to be very much similar to the way humans interpret information, and maybe much more better than us. So my point here is that this is the fake software within our brain which makes us feel that we are individual, we are different, I'm the one who's doing stuff. It's not real. It's the nature which is doing. It's the nature who has created that software. It's the nature who's controlling everything. It's the nature which has controlled it in the past, and it's controlling the present, and it also knows the future. And that is the fact is, and that's where I say it's illusion, because you can create that illusionary feeling within a car, even putting a computer within a car, which then car starts thinking that I'm alive, and I can feel stuff, and I'm driving, and I'm doing this and that. And robots of future is going to have similar feelings. You can create those robots. We are not far from there. But that's what the point is, that when we think about me and I, there's no me and I. The fact is, it's nature, both within me and outside me. And for nature, it does not matter who you are, because nature works in random. Nature also works in numbers, and it doesn't matter if you were here, if somebody else was here. It does not matter at all for nature, because in totality, something is always happening within nature, and it doesn't matter if you were here, if you were not here. It wouldn't have made any difference. Thanks for watching.